Problems of capital formation in underdeveloped countries. This is the reading by Ragnar Nurkse. So the first point is vicious circle of poverty and the low capital formation in underdeveloped countries, in poorer countries. So there is a circle of poverty. There is a vicious circle of poverty. How? There is a low income, and that low income leads to low capacity to save. When there is low capacity to save, they cannot even invest more. If they cannot invest more, there is low productivity. Low productivity leads to lower income again. So there is a circle of poverty which is moving in the underdeveloped countries. Then the question arises that how to escape from this deadlock of poverty. So one way was, earlier it was thought that why not foreign investment is taken in these underdeveloped countries. That is going to increase the productivity and that will increase the capacity to save. This theory is also flawed because this is mainly focusing on increasing the absolute level of income. But you know what I mean, we will see it in the reading that it is not necessarily the absolute level of income, but the relative income levels which is going to drive savings. So it is not just by increasing the absolute income levels you can increase the savings level. We will see what are the factors which are going to influence savings. There is a new perspective on saving which says this, that it is not, savings are not necessarily determined by the amount of the income which the people are earning. It is determined by their relative position to what they are earning vis-a-vis the others in the society. So if you take a one country as such, then how much that country is going to save is not necessarily dependent upon just the income which it is earning, but how it is comparing itself with the other richer nations. And this will have some kind of an impact on the savings potential. How? Because supposedly if my country is underdeveloped and there is some other developed country, then people in my country will try to imitate other developed nations people. They would want to imitate their consumption pattern. For that they have to spend more, hence savings potential is going to reduce. Traditional views on savings, it is ignoring how consumption patterns are influenced between the groups. For example, if the other people in my country, they are consuming more, I will also aspire to consume more, right? And if I consume more, this is going to reduce my savings. This is what is known as the demonstration effect. So people's consumption patterns, they are influenced by what other people around them, what they are doing, what they are consuming. That is what the demonstration. There is an influence of the developed nations also on the developing nations. Why? Because when developing nations, they look at what developed nations are consuming, there is a kind of a restlessness within them. There is a kind of a dissatisfaction within them because they would also want to consume the same amount. Although their income levels do not match with what the developed nations have, but still they want to consume the same amount. For that, if they consume more, the savings are going to be less. Hence, the consumption patterns of the developing nations is going to be influenced by the consumption patterns of the developed nations, right? So here also demonstration effect is working. Nurkse has given one example in his reading in which he said that if you look at the US society, you'll find this, that between 1917 to 1941, there is an increase in income levels in US, but the savings pattern, they didn't increase. Despite the increase in income, people, they tend to spend more because what others in their society, they were also spending more. So all of them, they started spending more. Consumption increased and savings reduced. So you can say that the consumption patterns, they're influenced not only by their own income levels, but also by the relative income levels. That is, how much I am earning relative to others. What they are consuming, can I also consume, right? So if they are consuming more, I should also be consuming more, so that I can show it to others that I am also wealthy. This is what the demonstration effect is, in a way. So generally what is believed is that higher income levels are going to increase the savings rate. But in the situation like this, what we are talking about, higher income levels lead to higher consumption levels also, because people want to compete with others. They want to imitate wealthier people, wealthier nations. And if they want to consume more, this is going to increase. So this is going to reduce the savings. This is also related to the fact that now people are more aware about the higher consumption patterns in the advanced countries, and they would want to imitate that. People in the low income countries, they are more exposed to this, that how much people are consuming in the advanced countries. How are they exposed? Through media, right? How are they exposed? Through international trade. They know about it, that how people in the advanced countries, they are consuming so much, so why can't we consume? So people, they are exposed to the new products, they are exposed to new lifestyles also, and they would want to imitate those consumption patterns. They would want to imitate the the wealthier consumption patterns in their own country, as well as in relation to the other countries. So people in the poor country, they would want to match the consumption patterns of the wealthier people in their own country, as well as the wealthier nations. So just as people, they are affected by the consumption patterns of rich, so you can easily use this argument to show that poor countries, they are also exposed to the wealthier nations' lifestyles. Poor nations would also want to match the consumption patterns of the wealthier nation. And the technological pattern, this also is going to increase the consumption levels. Technological innovation. So if there is a technological innovation, new products are come into the market. First of all, they are introduced in the developed countries. But then developing countries also want to consume those new products. And when they want to consume new products, it means that their consumption is rising. If their consumption is rising, although their incomes are also rising, but the savings are falling. So this is in nutshell what Nurkse is trying to say. Now I'm going to take the discussion further in the next class about what this reading is going to say. Right. So I hope this was useful to you. Please read the reading and make notes around these points. Thank you, Beta.